This is Ken the Metal Professor. I am here at the Goodson Event Center in South Bend, Indiana, awaiting the start of the Revolution Championship Wrestling event titled He's Got Kids. And if you recognize that phrase, you might know that tonight's special guest is Heath from Impact Wrestling and WWE. I drove out here from Valpo a little earlier, had a little bit of panic when I plugged in all my gear and got no power, but a switch to a different outlet fixed that problem. This is always my favorite time of year to drive out to wrestling shows because the leaves are changing, and so when it's a nice, cool, sunny fall evening, it's a very pleasant, about 60 to 70 minute drive from point A to point B. And as I'm driving out here, I'm thinking, the kids are both away at college. My wife is away at a scrapbooking retreat this weekend. And what am I doing? I'm going to a wrestling show. I don't know what that says, but I'm excited to be here. I will be bringing you a recap of the action as the event takes place. And as always, you get to listen to this, not quite live, but pretty soon thereafter, on the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. That's my intro. The next thing you hear will be when the action begins. The show is about to begin. This is going to be interesting when I get back to listen to it later because I did not bring the proper headphone adapter. So normally I get to plug my headphones into my mixing board and listen as I'm recording to modulate my voice and the volume. And right now I can't do that. So I can go by the little blue waves on my screen in Audacity and hope that I'm not messing things up too badly. But ring announcer Greg Hansen has gotten in the room, in the ring. He's kicking the show off. Now, it is kind of strange to start the show with a heavyweight championship match, but later in the show, weighing
288 pounds from Indianapolis, Indiana, the Lost Cause, Anthony Lee!
All right, well, Anthony Lee comes out to the ring. Later in the show, and probably the main event, is a multi-man battle between Storm Nation and The Awakening. Or in other words, Brutus Dillon and his cronies versus Kevin Storm and his buds, with stipulations that if Kevin Storm wins, Dillon has to relinquish any control of RCW. And if Dillon wins, then Storm is out of here. So that will be the main event. So then we've got bookends of two big matches.
And his opponent, hailing from Chicago, Illinois, weighing 400 pounds, he is the king of Northern Indiana and your RCW heavyweight champion, Mr. Brutus Dillon!
Brutus had Anthony Lee in the corner, and I missed capturing a really loud slap. So I tried to get the follow-up, and it was audible, but, not as impressive as the first. Anthony Lee's mounting a comeback with a strike of his own and a couple of headbutts. But now Dillon has him in a chokehold. Is he about to go up? And then back down again. Nope. Lee fought out of it. Wow. And a suplex. Lee has Dillon down in the corner. And Lee is going up to the top turnbuckle and hits a moonsault. He is a large individual to pull off a moonsault. He got a 2.5 count out of it. That light tap you just heard was Anthony Lee with a choke slam on Brutus Dillon, which got him a 2 4/5 of a count. Getting closer. That choke slam was Brutus Dillon dropping Anthony Lee, going for another. Let's see what happens here. Oh, and that's a 3 count. Dillon's choke slam got the job done. The referee was clapping after he counted 3. So Brutus Dillon remains the RCW Heavyweight Champion.
Brutus Dillon. Now that I'm done with Anthony Lee, I got one more piece of business to handle for tonight. Kevin Storm, Storm Nation, and that idiot Tony Thunder. You all are going to regret the day you ever crossed paths with me. Tonight, the awakening puts an end to Storm Nation. And tonight is the last night any of you will see Kevin Storm ever again. Get my music. 20 pounds. The team of the Jester, Ivy Fresh, and the dude, MB Funk. They are Funk and Fresh!
So next up is a tag team match. Funk and Fresh. That's Funk and Fresh. Their opponents, Spark of Madness, coming up. Sean Sparks and Travesty. Travesty is going around the ring, giving hugs. I didn't get a hug, but lots of other people are, so that's good. So, of the tag team Funk and Fresh, Mr. Fresh starts off against Travesty. And after a couple of lockups, he just bails. I think he's explaining to his partner that maybe he should go in instead. No luck. Oh, tag. So Mr. Funk is now getting in the ring. Travesty's waiting for him. And after a lockup, Travesty shoves him into a corner, and then Mr. Funk bails. Travesty decided, you know, this is going nowhere. So he tagged in his partner, Sean Sparks. And now it's Sean Sparks against Mr. Fresh. Sean Sparks weighs about 1/3 of a Travesty. if a travesty is a standard unit of mass. Nice drop kick. And a clothesline. Another. I haven't seen a good old-fashioned abdominal stretch for a long time. Mr. Fresh has that locked in on Sean Sparks. Sparks is fighting out of it with some elbows and a headbutt. Yeah, but then that didn't go so well for him after all. Sparks was just getting toyed with for quite a while. Yanked away from tags, thrown across the ring. But he finally freed himself and just tagged in Travesty. And he plants Fresh right into the mat. But no 3 count. While the ref was distracted, Funk came around the opposite side of the ring, snuck up behind Travesty and suplexed him. Now the ref is over in the corner admonishing Sean Sparks while Travesty is still getting hammered on. But now things are back in order. Fresh is doing the top rope walk a la The Undertaker. But when he comes off, Travesty got him into a belly-to-belly slam. And then fixes on the claw right to his forehead. And Fresh taps out. Your winners are Spark of Madness.
This next match is scheduled for 1 fall. It is a singles competition. And first, making his way to the ring, weighing 185 pounds, from Cali, Colombia, he's everybody's friend. Let's hear it for Chico. Houston, Texas, and Final Four, Jorge Bravo.
Jorge Bravo taking on Chico Suave. And I swear, on the series American Dad, the cartoon series, there is a side character that shows up once in a while that is the absolute spitting image of Jorge Bravo. So I need to be faster on that screen grab the next time I see him. You know how everybody says the apron is the hardest part of the ring? And it usually comes up in the context of somebody's head going into it. But Jorge Bravo was standing on the inside of the ropes, Chico Suave on the outside, facing away from the ring. Jorge bopped him on the top of his head, which dropped him down. So he landed butt first on the apron. Probably worse than an atomic drop on that spine. Couple of chops on the outside of the ring from Chico to Jorge. And right into the ring post there. All right, Chico just asked the crowd who wants to see some lucha. So now the expectations are high. He's got a grip on Jorge's right hand with his own left hand, and now he's jumped up to the corner. Started walking the rope until Jorge yanked him down. And you know how he landed. Come on now. And Jorge is bouncing the rope up and down. To add insult to injury, the ref started shaking the rope up and down to demonstrate to Jorge what he should not be doing. And Jorge just got a 3 count on a surprise roll-up. Chico was trying to lift him up for a slam. Jorge just spun around to his other side, tipped him backwards, rolled him up. After the match, the two made nice with each other, shook hands, had a hug, and we may have just witnessed the birth of a new tag team. The Chico and Jorge Express. I'm calling it now. I managed to not capture the actual introduction, but making their RCW debut from Detroit, they say they are the Detroit chapter of the Cobra Kai Dojo. They came out with big, giant black Cobra Kai flags with the Strike Hard and No Mercy logo, not endearing themselves to the crowd. Greg Hansen's looking a little iffy about being in the ring with them. And here comes the Shaman and Kip Rude, otherwise known as the Fine Ass Guys. Kip Rude was taunting his opponent with silly, exaggerated karate poses and was paid for his efforts with a pretty stiff kick. Now the other Cobra Kai member is tagged in. He's got Kip Rude up in a delayed suplex. Came down for a count, but the Shaman broke it up. Cobra Kai had dropped Kip Rude in their own corner and hit him with a combination leg drop and moonsault, one after the other. And as he was about to get pinned, the ring attendant that comes out with the Fine Ass Guys jumped up on the apron to distract the ref and sort of save the day there. But he got a big boot for his efforts. And now Kip Rude is right back in a bad situation. 2 count. It's been a while since the Shaman has been in there, so hopefully he'll have some big energy when he gets tagged in. Kip Rude is still in the ring. The Shaman has repeatedly reached out from his corner to try to tag in with no luck. Rude is basically a rag doll at this point. Just took a double knee to the head from Cobra Kai, one to each side. Kip Rude finally managed to get in a pit of offense and tag in his partner. Who is now going after both of his opponents at the same time. An elbow to the back of the head and then a back splash, which is interrupted by the other, who gets thrown out over the top rope for his trouble. And now the Shaman is tagged back in, Kip Rude, who probably has not had enough time to recover. But gets the job done. A sunset flip off of the ropes. The Fine-ass guys roll up Cobra Kai.
This next match is scheduled for one fall. First, hailing from Fishers, Indiana, weighing 218 pounds. He is the #1 overall pick, Blake Nwiwrap.
On his way to the ring, Blake Wright picked up a kid's piece of pizza and threw it on the floor.
You may have heard of this man. Hailing from Fort Mill, South
That was terrible.
weighing 250 pounds. He is a current Impact star and one half of the Impact Tag Team World Champion, the Red and Rebel.
And here is Heath. The bell is rung. The two men are circling each other. Heath against Blake Wright. Blake just announced, I'm a 2-year veteran. I'm going to teach you a thing or two. Heath is in great shape, and he looks like he's having fun. Well, and Blake Wright did have a headlock on successfully for about 4 seconds, but Heath has reversed it into a chicken wing on the mat. Heath decided it was time to get a little bit serious. After a flurry of offense, he knocked Blake out of the ring. And Blake has just flung an elbow pad away and said, I'm going home, and he's walking back to the curtain. But Heath is walking up behind him and is not letting him leave. The second was not as good as the first. The mic wasn't on, but Heath just made a loud chop off of Blake Wright's chest. So the crowd chanted one more time. He obliged. You heard that one, but meh, it was okay. The ref is letting this one go a little bit since there has been a tough time for like a 40 count of these guys outside the ring. Heath just slammed Wright's head into the apron, but they're still on the outside. The ref has finally got back in the ring. Maybe he's counting now? Okay, so Heath has rolled Blake Wright back into the ring. Oh, and while he was coming back himself, Wright jumped up and kicked him. And then shoved him to the floor. So now Wright is in the ring and Heath is on the ground, and Wright's going back out of the ring. It looks like Wright's going to try to return the favor. He sat Heath in a chair. And, nope, looked like he was going to give him a knife edge chop, but instead just kicked him across the chest and knocked him over in the chair. Blake Wright's actually been handling Heath for a little bit. A big leg strike, choking him in the ropes. Got a 2 count. Big overhead suplex there. Neither man is having as much fun as they were before. I think Heath has decided to get serious here. He's unloading on Blake Wright. Got a 2 count, but not 3. Blake is up on the top. Jumped off. Heath got out of the way. And Heath gets the pin. So sometimes when you see somebody in quote-unquote real life, they end up being smaller than they look on television. Heath is bigger than he looks on television. He is a large dude. That's the end of the first half here. Revolution Championship Wrestling's event. He's Got Kids. Coverage of the second half coming up, well, instantly for you guys, because you're listening to delayed audio coverage on WVLP 103.1 FM, Valparaiso, Indiana. For me, it's going to be about 10 or 15 minutes. You are listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana.
You suck! First, hailing from your mom's bedroom, weighing in at 18, standing 6 foot 5 tender, he is the Starbucks superstar, the Frappuccino F-Boy, Alex Van Zant, ABC! Hailing from the Niosphere, by way of Detroit, Michigan, weighing 180 pounds, the Process MM3!
The second half of Revolution Championship Wrestling show, He's Got Kids, at the Goodson Event Center in South Bend, Indiana. Sunday, October 29th. Saturday, October 29th. Duh. Of course, broadcast a few days later. First match in the second half is Alex Van Zant against MM3, Malcolm Monroe III. The match started with Alex Van Zant trying to keep in control of things, just with arm drags and arm twists. Not a lot of movement. A lot of being immobile, but staying in control. MM3 finally got loose, had a flurry of offense, a lot of movement, and now it's back to Alex Van Zant slowing things down, this time with just a whole bunch of blows to the head. Van Zant was about to strike MM3 with his waist belt as the ref was grabbing it away and taking it to the corner. Van Zant unwrapped some wrist tape and choked MM3, but only for a brief second before the ref caught on to that. Quite a lot of shenanigans going on here. It's a Russian leg sweep by Van Zant onto MM3 and an attempted roll-up afterwards, but no luck. MM3 keeps trying to get in some high kinetic energy offense, but Van Zant has an answer for it with things like slams and chokes. Nothing subtle. Speaking of nothing subtle, he just locked in a chin lock. And Monroe fights out of it with some elbows. jockeying back and forth for position, trading off holds very rapidly. Monroe finally gets him down with a lariat. MM3's finally gotten the upper hand, charging into the corner with some strikes a few times. Went for a pinfall, but only got 2. Now the action slows again. It's like interval training. Big bursts and then rests. Looks like Monroe is going to climb to the top rope while Van Zandt is prone in the ring. Monroe's up on the top corner turnbuckle. Came for a stomp, but Van Zandt had rolled out of the way. Keith is watching from the curtains. Monroe delivers a thrust kick to the chin of Van Zandt. Then a spinning kick to the chin. And a brain buster. Oh, but not 3. Monroe's up on the top corner again. Goes for a swanton, but Van Zandt lifts his knees, gets him in the back. Goes for a pinfall of his own, no luck, and now he's just having a temper tantrum. MM3 was doing wrestling by committee, asking a crowd if he should go up on the top turnbuckle, asking a kid at one of the tables if he wanted a swanton. Kid must have given the wrong answer because the swanton didn't pay off. MM3 just gave himself a little extra momentum from the top rope, up and over from the outside, right into a cutter on Van Zandt, but didn't go for the pin. I think he managed to hurt himself on that same move. Van Zandt has reached outside for his plastic Starbucks cup. Takes a drink from it. While the ref's taking the cup, Van Zandt sprays whatever liquid was in the cup onto MM3 and then follows with a pedigree and gets the 3 count. So it must have been the magic Starbucks knockout juice. Coming soon to a Starbucks near you. This next match announced as the semi-main event. Idle Hines coming to the ring, his opponent to be Logan Myers.
And his opponent, weighing 181 pounds, hailing from Santa Clara, California. Some call him the Starman, some call him the Lizard King, but most importantly, he is known as Loud and Proud Logan Myers!
Since radio is an audio medium and you can't see this, Idle Hines is a large, stocky man with jet black wrestling shorts, a bald head, and furry boots. And he kind of reminds me of the old-timey wrestler that would say, "Huss, huss." Think the Barbarian. Logan Myers is about the same height, but a lot skinnier. Yellow tights. I believe he has a tattoo of Michael Myers on his right pectoral, which is appropriate for the season. Looking at the two, you would expect Idle Hines to come out on top, but Logan Myers is much more agile. For example, that was a springboard spinning arm drag that he executed. Made Idle Hines miss a couple of times after that until Hines got him with a clothesline. After a lot of back and forth, Myers went up to the top corner to try for a body splash, but Hines just caught him in midair. Planted him. Only got a 2 count. He has a look of disbelief. So he picks Myers back up, announces he's going to do a superplex. He sat Logan Myers up on the top turnbuckle. Now he's climbing up after. The second rope. Arm around Myers' neck. But Myers is fighting him off. Shoves him. Hines is staggering. Myers is up on the top corner. A body splash. And 3. And Myers escaped the ring quickly after that.
The first team making their way to the ring. We have Shady Chris Sire, Nwiwrap, Steel Storm, and Mr. Brutus Dillon representing. They represent the Awakening. The team of Kevin Storm, Daniel Stark, Jamar Jupiter, Death Rider.
To repeat the introduction, we've got The Awakening against Storm Nation, a 5-on-5 tag team elimination match with stipulations. If Storm Nation wins, Brutus Dillon relinquishes control of RCW. If The Awakening wins, Kevin Storm leaves RCW. Opening up, Brutus Dillon against Tony Thunder. You got Brutus Dillon, Let Her Rip, Theo Storm, Shady Chris Zion, and Bacchus for The Awakening. Then you've got Kevin Storm, Tony Thunder, Daniel Stark, Jamar Jupiter, and Jensen, a.k.a. Death Rider, Storm Nation. Before any contact, Brutus Dillon tagged Bacchus in, who sweeps Tony Thunder down into an armbar. After some back and forth, both men tagged out. Now we've got Jamar Jupiter facing a Let Her Rip. After getting his butt handed to him for a minute or so, Let Her Rip tags out to Theo Storm, and Jupiter tags in Daniel Stark. The carousel continues. Tags again. Now it's Shady Chris against Kevin Storm. Nobody's been eliminated yet. Shady Chris lured Kevin Storm into a test of strength. After they locked fingers and swept their hands downward, Shady leaned in and started biting Kevin Storm on the neck like a vampire. Normally I'd call foul on that, but it is Halloween weekend, so we'll let it go. The ref didn't let it go, though. After a wicked atomic drop, Shady Chris tagged in Brutus Dillon. You might think Brutus Dillon versus Kevin Storm, but no, Kevin Storm, being the gentleman he is, tagged in Jensen, who is about 2/3 of the height of Brutus Dillon. But she is the RCW Women's Champion, so don't discount it. And she's going in with some elbow strikes until Brutus Dillon grabbed her by the throat. Damian Saint wants to come in and rescue Jensen. That was enough of a distraction for Jensen to hit a low blow, and after several minutes of nice, clean individual action, everybody has rushed into the ring, and now it's a melee. Pretty much everybody is outside of the ring except for Kevin Storm and Jamar Jupiter, who are up on the top turnbuckles, each leaping to the outside of their respective corners to land on piles of other people. Storm Nation is rolling Brutus Dillon back into the ring where Jensen waits. Dillon is begging for a reprieve for a moment. Jensen is just staring at him like he's crazy, but that in itself is giving him a reprieve. Dillon swings and misses, and Jensen hits him with elbows. And that is it for Jensen. She's down on the mat. So Jensen has pursued Brutus Dillon away from ringside and back through the curtain. 8 count. 9 count.
Mr. Brutus Dillon and Death Rider have been eliminated.
And the ref eliminates both of them for being counted out. Interesting that Brutus Dillon is the first person out when he has so much at stake here during this match. Jupiter and Let Her Rip were in the ring together. Bacchus came in to distract the ref, and while the ref was clearing Bacchus out of the ring, Let Her Rip hit Jupiter with a low blow and got a 3 count right after. So Jupiter has been eliminated. Storm Nation's down to 3 people. Awakening has 4. The sides are even again as Tony Thunder has eliminated Bacchus. So now we got Let Her Rip, Shady Chris, and Theo Storm. Tony Thunder, Daniel Stark, and Kevin Storm on the other side. Tony Thunder was about to go for a pin on Let Her Rip when Bacchus, who remember has been eliminated, snuck in from the other side of the ring, planted Tony Storm down, and placed Let Her Rip on top of Tony Thunder. Tony Thunder has been eliminated. Stark and Kevin Storm on Team Storm. Still Let Her Rip, Shady Chris, and Theo Storm for the Awakening. After a round of the ref disallowing the tag of Kevin Storm, but actually allowing the tag from the Awakening, neither of which he saw, eventually Theo Storm was able to pin Daniel Stark. And now it is 3-on-1. Shady Chris, Let Her Rip, and Theo Storm against Kevin Storm. And remember, if Kevin Storm loses, he leaves RCW. A little dissension between Shady Chris and Let Her Rip affords a distraction. Kevin Storm eliminates Let Her Rip. He's even the odds a little bit more. Now it's down to Shady Chris and Theo Storm against Kevin Storm. Shady Chris in the ring with Kevin Storm at the moment. I was fully expecting this to end up being Kevin Storm against Theo Storm as the two remaining combatants, but Kevin Storm just eliminated Theo Storm, leaving Kevin Storm against Shady Chris for all the marbles. Shady Chris almost got a 3 count on Storm, but not quite. I wonder what Brutus Dillon is thinking with his whole future in the hands of Shady Chris Zion. At least Kevin Storm has his future in his own hands. Wouldn't you know it, just as Kevin Storm was going up on the top turnbuckle, Brutus Dillon comes running back out to the ring from backstage. He's yelling at Theo Storm to get something, getting a chair from under the ring. Theo's looking a little bit hesitant here about bringing that chair in. And instead of hitting Kevin Storm with the chair, Theo Storm just clobbered Brutus Dillon. Shady Chris can't believe it. So Shady Chris slugged Theo Storm. While he's distracted with Storm, Kevin Storm had a super kick waiting. Listen to this. And Brutus Dillon is no longer in charge of RCW.
Welcome to your hell. We're here, folks. Coming storm through this village. Steel cage for the hell. Let's hear it for Storm Nation. Thank you, everyone.
And that is a wrap. This has been RCW's event, He's Got Kids, perhaps now known as He's Got a Headache, after Brutus Dillon got hit in the head with a steel chair, courtesy of Theo Storm. What I believe is the last RCW show of the year, November 19th, right back here at the Goodson Event Center in South Bend. The main event, as you just heard, will be Kevin Storm versus Brutus Dillon for the RCW Heavyweight Championship in a steel cage. Hopefully, the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program will be here to give you coverage. But between now and then, thanks for listening. There's also a Backbreaker Wrestling show in November, and I hope they're not the same night. Anyway, thanks for listening to WVLP. I'm Ken the Metal Professor. This has been the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. And now back to the regular stuff.